Hello, I'm Gil Zilkha. Welcome to Essential Classical Music. This video is taken from my larger video on the consensus reference recordings of the core classical music repertoire. Not my choices, but rather the collective critical consensus that has filtered down through the years, across generations, across continents, to which you have also contributed. And if you agree with my choices, or if you think the consensus lies elsewhere, as always, feel free to comment, and I hope you enjoy it. Next, we come to Tchaikovsky and his three most popular symphonies. I'm going to discuss them as a set, 4, 5, and 6. And you know what this one's going to be. Of course, Evgeny Merevinsky, this iconic recording from 1960 with the Leningrad Philharmonic, recorded very well. There have been a lot of great recordings of these works, especially the Symphony No. 6, the Pathetique. But I think this is the one that became the classic and has retained its position as the classic after all these decades. Now for the Piano Concerto No. 1, this one is interesting because you have a version that is almost as famous for being it's almost as famous for being overrated as it is famous for being great. And that is, of course, one of the most famous recordings ever made of classical music. The version with Van Cliburn, conducted by Kirill Kondrashin in the RCA Orchestra. Of course, the famous story of Cliburn winning the Tchaikovsky competition in Moscow. And then they came over here and recorded it. By the way, this cover, it's such a iconic cover. It's almost to classical music what the Abbey Road cover, with the Beatles, or the Pet Sounds with the Beach Boys is to pop music. It's just such a famous recording that even this image is kind of like, that one. Now the thing about it though is, it is universally praised. However, I would say that more often than not, you hear a lot of people saying, yeah, it's so famous because of its circumstances, but was the actual performance that great? And the thing is, what you'll most often hear is that it wasn't as great as its acclaim, maybe due to the fame and circumstances. But the issue is, what's the alternative? What is the more critically acclaimed version than this one? And honestly, I think that is such a wide open debate between other versions that this one still retains its position as the reference. Now for the Violin Concerto, we first have to go back to Heifetz. This is coupled with the Brahms Concerto. It's with the same conductor and orchestra, Fritz Reiner and the Chicago Symphony, recorded in the 50s. It's one of the pieces that Heifetz was most known for. But I think you also have to include, next to Heifetz, again, David Oistrakh. And the question is which Oistrakh, because he, like just with the Brahms, he also did it with Konwiczny on Deutsche Grammophon a few years earlier. But I think by a small margin, this version with Eugene Ormandy and the Philadelphia Orchestra from 1959 is the one that has gotten the bulk of acclaim. So just like with the Brahms, I think you got to go with Heifetz and Oistrakh as your reference recordings. All right, next, let's talk about, this will be easy, 1812 Overture, Dorati. Andal Dorati, Minneapolis Symphony, 1958, almost as famous, probably more famous for it's just the recording technology with the Mercury Living Presence, but a pretty easy choice for the 1812 Overture. And then for the ballet suites, we have this recording, Mstislav Rostropovich and the Berlin Philharmonic from the late 70s, beautifully recorded and played, pretty much universally regarded. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I hope you'll also take time to click the like and subscribe buttons. And with that, I want to wish you all a great day and happy listening.